Grover got a call, and it was one of the detectives, and he said, "Grover, we know who did it." And the detective said, "Mr. Norwood, it was Ulysses Parker. We found the headlight rim on the side of the road. It matched his truck. We found his truck. He's stated that he went to town that evening and he did feel a bump, but he didn't know what it was."
Lord, no, he didn't realize that it had happened. And he told me, he said, "Pastor," he said, "after they told me what had happened," he said, "it seemed like something just took a knife and pierced him in his heart." And he said that pain is still there. And he said that, he said after all of that expired, went by, he said never met no one like Brother Norwood.
And the first thing Grover did was to call Ulysses, and Mrs. Parker answered the phone. And Grover began to offer his compassion and his concern and his love to the Parkers.
His reaction was not in anger or questioning. His immediate reaction was, well, we've got to get over there. Well, we've got to put our arms around that man. He must be scared to death.
And we went to Mr. Parker's house, and we went in, and we prayed. We held hands in the kitchen and prayed. And I saw Mr. Parker's little granddaughter, and she prayed with us. And I asked her, I said, "Honey, how old are you?" And she said, "I'm 4. The same age as Joy." And there was no blame in Grover's heart. The day before the funeral, with all the chaos that is involved in a situation like this, the phones ringing, people coming by, things to do, decisions to make, tears to shed, prayers to pray, detectives to talk to. Grover thought about Mrs. Parker, and he called her up and asked her if she had a dress to wear to the funeral.
Grove went over and bought clothes for them to wear to the funeral. He just did incredible things that just continued to confirm the forgiveness and the heart that was working in this place.
I didn't understand it at first, and I just still don't know that I would ever be able to be that forgiving. I mean, I don't know how anybody, that's just incredible to me.
When you'll sit back and you'll think about all the things that you'll do for your children in this world, it's not what I'll do for my kids, but you know, what wouldn't I do? But I don't know what I could do knowing that somebody that's that close to me has taken something that's so precious to me.
People were beginning to find out about the fact that it was Mr. Parker, because some people still didn't know. They knew who he was in the community, but people didn't realize the relationship that Grove and Jill had with the Parkers.
You know, he was just so good. He was just so good to us. You know, he was really good to us. So they had the funeral and everything, and his brother and his family, they came and picked us up and took us to the funeral. And it was not, you know, and we just still love it. And he still loved us.
What moved me at the funeral, it was the love And I heard that love covers a multitude of faults, but I saw love cover every fault that day at the funeral.
I remember at Joy's funeral, Grover walking in, holding hands with Mr. Parker. And that was a picture that nobody will ever forget.
The craziest thing to me about that day was that Grove insisted when they pulled up in the cars and the tent was there, the casket was already laying on the stand over the gravesite, he insisted that Jill be on one side of him with Graham and that Mr. Parker be seated on the front row next to him. Now the front row, as you know, is reserved for family.
They made Brother Parker part of the family. That was awesome.
I never seen a family come together like they did. I never have. I'm almost 58. I have never seen that in my lifetime.
To purchase clothing for them and then to have them seated beside them was beyond anything anybody at that service had ever seen.
He didn't sit over here. He was sitting with the family. Only God can do that. Only God can do that.